During the height of World War II, British pilots soared over enemy lines, braving gunfire, freezing winds, and near-certain death. A single mistake, an engine hit, a storm off course, and they could find themselves alone, deep in Nazi-occupied Europe. Capture wasn't the end, but survival wasn't guaranteed either. Because these pilots carried something extraordinary, hidden inside their very uniforms, a secret survival kit designed not by soldiers, but by magicians, map-makers, and the British Secret Service. Every button, every stitch, every seam held a secret weapon for escape. Today, we'll uncover the hidden world of Mi-9's escape kits, the invisible tools that turned ordinary clothing into a pilot's last hope for freedom. When World War II erupted in 1939, Britain knew that many of its airmen would be shot down behind enemy lines. The problem wasn't just surviving the crash, it was getting back home. That responsibility fell to a newly formed branch of British intelligence, Mi-9. While Mi-6 collected secrets, Mi-9's mission was simpler, but far more daring: help Allied airmen escape. Leading this effort was Brigadier Norman Crockett, and a man whose imagination changed wartime survival forever: Christopher Clayton Hutton, or, as everyone called him, Clutty. Hutton wasn't your typical intelligence officer. He'd worked in show business, designing stage illusions. To him, magic and espionage were two sides of the same coin. Both depended on deception, misdirection, and detail. Under Mi-9, he used those same tricks of illusion to design escape tools that could pass enemy inspections and still save a man's life. Mi-9 quietly partnered with tailors, bootmakers, map printers, and even toy companies to create escape aids disguised as everyday items. Every piece of a pilot's uniform could serve two purposes: appearance and survival. Boots with hollow heels that hid small blades or gold coins, buttons magnetized to act as compasses, collars and linings stitched with folded silk maps, covering escape routes across France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Why silk? Because it didn't rustle, tear, or dissolve in water. It could be folded smaller than paper, hidden inside seams, and survive even a river crossing. Some uniforms even hid tiny saws in the belt lining, sharp enough to cut through wood or light wire fences. For the average German guard, these were ordinary uniforms. But for a downed pilot, every stitch meant a fighting chance. Christopher Hutton's imagination pushed Mi-9's work to legendary status. He designed escape tools that were as clever as they were invisible. One of his most famous inventions was the button compass. It looked, and even felt, like a regular button. But if you suspended it by a thread, it would swivel until it pointed north. Two buttons, in slightly different colors, gave a pilot both north and south orientation. Others unscrewed to reveal fish hooks, saw wire, or microfilm messages printed on rice paper. Tiny tools for enormous odds. Even the soles of boots sometimes held small gold sovereigns, currency that could buy food, transport, or freedom. Every detail was designed with a single thought: if you're captured, your uniform is your survival kit. Mi-9 didn't stop at uniforms. They worked with map-makers like Bartholomew and Sons to print thousands of silk escape maps, distributed in secrecy to Allied pilots. Folded into the smallest corners of flight suits, these maps covered Europe in stunning accuracy. Rail lines, rivers, and safe routes to neutral countries. But Hutton's creativity went further. He teamed up with Waddington's, the makers of Monopoly, to hide escape kits inside game boards sent to POW camps. Under the board, a silk map. Under the play money, real currency. And in the tiny game tokens, compasses, saws, and files. Playing cards were coated with ordinary backs, but when soaked in water, they peeled apart to reveal hidden maps. Even razor blades had polarized markings that, under the right light, showed escape coordinates. These weren't just tools. They were a network of illusions designed to fool the sharpest eyes in the Gestapo. Imagine being shot down over France in 1943. Your aircraft is gone, your radio's dead, and every village ahead could hide an enemy patrol. Then you remember. The lining of your jacket holds a folded silk map. Your sleeve button is a compass. And in your heel, 3 gold coins that could buy passage from a farmer. Those tiny, hidden tools turned fear into hope. One RAF officer, squadron leader John Mott, used such a kit to escape from southern France to Spain after being shot down. He later said that his Mi-9 escape gear made the difference between capture and freedom. For thousands of Allied airmen, Mi-9's secret work was invisible but life-saving. The brilliance of Mi-9 wasn't in its weapons, it was in its mindset. First, concealment. Integrate survival tools into ordinary objects. Modern examples follow the same principle. Paracord bracelets that hold fishing line and fire starters, belts with hidden pockets, watches that double as cutting tools. Second, multifunctionality. Every item must serve more than one purpose. The RAF used soap to waterproof, buttons as compasses, and silk cloth as both a map and a bandage. That philosophy still guides modern survival design. And third, the mindset of preparation. They didn't wait to be rescued. They planned to save themselves. Preparation wasn't paranoia. It was foresight. Today, many of these original kits are displayed in the Imperial War Museum and other collections across Europe. Their secrets, once classified, are now open to the public. Each item, from a button compass to a silk map, is a reminder of what human ingenuity can achieve under pressure. They weren't superweapons. They were acts of defiance, stitched into fabric. Proof that even in the darkest war, creativity could save lives. When you look at one of those uniforms today, you're not just seeing wool and thread. You're seeing hope, strategy, and survival sewn into every seam. Because sometimes the greatest weapons of war aren't guns or bombs. They're imagination, preparation, and the refusal to give up. If you found this story of hidden survival fascinating, make sure to subscribe for more forgotten wartime innovations, the inventions that shaped how we think about survival, courage, and ingenuity. Because history doesn't just tell us what happened, it shows us how to endure.